Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. I am your host, Bobby Sampson, and joined with me, as always, is my man with the master plan. It is OPEX Fitness T-shirt, Mr. Chance, Michael's Chance. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Yourself?
Can't complain, man. On today's show, we're going to talk about Raw. We're going to talk about the top news of the week. Man, I think it's going to be a pretty cool show, man.
Oh,
Let's start with Friday Night SmackDown. Let's just go straight there and talk about the one thing that happened there that everybody was waiting for. The Usos, the bloodline, it's dissipated, it's broken, it's done. So we think there are other Usos around. So never say never. So as it stands right now, for those who missed it, and I'm sure anyone listening today hasn't missed this, and if you have, dude, where the fuck have you been hiding? So Jey Uso comes out and he's supposed to make his decision if he's going to stay with the bloodline or not.
yep.
And there at the end, he's going back and forth. He's talking about how Roman helped him, and then Roman says something along the lines that when we wanted to make you the right hand man, there was only one person who was against it, and that turned out to be Jimmy. So
Yep.
he's asked Jimmy if this is true. And, all this time I thought I had to deal with him, but I was dealing with you too. Well, I guess you're out. I guess you're out, he says. I guess what? I'm out too. Super kick.
Oh,
Boom. Took out Roman Reigns right there. And then he posted something. I think he's saying he broke his nose or something. I don't know if you saw that picture of him.
I did.
They took out Solo. They came back and took him out one more time. So very much like the Marvel Cinema universe, we have the Bloodline Civil War match at Money in the Bank.
Should be a good tag team match. Are the belts on the line?
There are no belts though.
Well, I mean, is Roman Reigns going to put? Oh, sorry, no, sorry, you're right.
Yeah,
Right.
no. It's kind of funny because I
Sammy
think
and Kevin got those.
yeah, Seven and Cammy got those, and it's kind of funny you bring that up only for the fact that it was mentioned last night on Raw. Kevin's all like, "Why you guys keep asking us about the Usos still? We're done with those guys, right?" Like, I like the storyline they're playing there, man. I like it. I like what they're doing there as well. But let's get into Raw. Let's go straight to Raw now,
Yeah.
and basically the show opens up with Seth Rollins coming out, and he doesn't even get started, man. Finn comes out, destroys him. Now, I have one bone about this segment here, okay? I know wrestling is what wrestling is. We don't
Yeah.
need to go into that, but make it believable.
I know.
And
I know. I'm
and
with you.
if I'm cringing, then it has to be something. Like I say I am the most patient person when it comes, and you can probably attest to this compared to you and I when it comes to what we see.
Yeah.
I feel I'm a bit more patient and a bit more lenient with the product than you are. You're a bit more
Yeah.
cutthroat, which is
Totally
great. I,
agree.
I love that because that balances us, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem I had with that segment last night. Finn isn't the biggest guy on the roster.
No, not at all.
Now, Kenny Dykstra and Jason Jordan, the two guys that were out there, former WWE guys, are bigger than him, right?
Yeah, quite a bit.
How the hell can this guy get off with 3 to 4 coup de grace and no one can stop the guy?
He's like a little mini Brock Lesnar there.
Right? I got frustrated at the end. I truly did because I'm just watching. Okay, 1 done, 2 great. I got that.
3,
To
4.
come back with the 3rd and the 4th, that just kind of then I start to cringe. I'm like, okay, you know what? If I'm a casual fan, I'm not enjoying this anymore because come on, man. The guy's little. No disrespect to Finn.
It was way over the top. I guess why they're doing it, maybe Vinny and Triple H were thinking, well, he put Seth Rollins put Finn Balor out for a year. He did that buckle bomb, he hurt his neck or whatever. Same thing to Sting. So that Finn is so pissed off. He's demon Finn's back. I need my revenge. I'm going to go over the top with those coup de grace 4 times, maybe. It's what they're trying to sell.
No, and I'm sure that's the line there that they're trying to push
Yeah.
here. Plus, because this is the first big defense of the new title, they're really pushing the storyline as well, right? Which is great. I get it. You're frustrated, you're angry. And I love what we're seeing from Finn as a character. I think his true calling is a heel. I don't think he works as a
He's
face.
not a good baby face, no.
No, he's an amazing heel, and I think he found his right place and his niche, right? I get it. They're trying to sell the story. I think that's what it was all about. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I just thought it was too much for me personally.
It was a little over the top, a little unrealistic. I totally was thinking that when I was watching that. Absolutely.
Right. All right.
Should be a good match on Money in the Bank, though.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. These guys have always put on great matches. They're great athletes. They're great performers. It's kind of like having two Shawn Michaels working against each other. They usually are the guys that carry matches and the guys that make other guys look good,
Yeah,
right? Seth made Damian look good, even though he's quite flawed in a lot of
yeah,
areas,
absolutely, he did.
right? So you get two guys. I kind of equate this to a Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart match. Where
Sort of. Finn doesn't quite have the character of those guys, but I get what you're saying. They're both great in the ring.
That's what I
Yeah,
mean. I'm talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
in-ring ability, not so much character.
This could be. This has
Um,
the potential to be a classic if they both show up and give it their all. Could
I
be.
think they will. I think, right now, I am going to say this is probably the match of the night. Right now, we're 2 weeks away. Let's see
I
what they
mean,
do. Right.
Money in the Bank is actually about to be quite a good card actually in London. They got pulling all the stops here. We
Well,
got
I
Roman, we
mean,
got Logan, we got it all.
yeah, you got everything going on, and on top of that, that UK crowd, even if it's a shitty show, they're gonna make it look really good.
Oh yeah,
That
they're
crowd's
hot.
always live, right? They're always hot. All right, so we get into the Miz versus Tommaso Ciampa, a returning Tommaso Ciampa. He's been gone for about 9 months. He's fully healed up. Everything is good for him. Miz comes out and he talks about how he felt cheated last night. He wanted because Seth came out to do his open challenge, right?
Yeah,
Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So Miz comes out. He's pissed off. He says, "I can beat anybody on the roster. There's no one back there who's better than me." Out comes Tomasa. Now, last we saw Tomasa, him and the Miz were running together, right?
yep.
So I'm figuring, okay, he's gonna give him a hug and punch him in the face. Pretty much what happened. So the story goes here that Tomasa felt slighted because Miz never called him, never reached out to him, never checked on him to see how he was, sort of a deal. Typical story.
Yep.
So that brings Tomasa in and gets that going. Now I feel bad for the Miz here. I mean, I almost feel like this guy's losing way more than he's winning the last little while.
I think he's got to the point where he's just so good at working. He's so good at selling, storytelling. They're going to put him in there to help build the other guys. But speaking of his selling, when he jumped off the top rope, he took that kick or knee. Was that a kick or a knee from Ciampa there? And he stood up and sold it so good. And
Oh, that was the knee. That was
that was a knee, yeah. So
yeah,
the
yeah,
knee
yeah.
off the top rope, the way he sold that was beautiful. He's so underrated because that was textbook selling there. He
No,
stood up,
no.
looked like it. It's like the way he hit it was beautiful how he did it.
I'm telling you, you look at the class, you look at the Miz, and you look the guys who came out of that particular show. The Miz, John Morrison were the main two guys that kind of stuck, right? The low key guy was a guy who won, and Taker beat the shit out of him. Remember in the Royal Rumble when he got eliminated
What
by
was
him?
that guy's name again? It was Maven.
Maven, yeah, but he
Maven, yeah.
also
What
went by.
happened to Maven?
Well, Maven went on to MLW and different things after he got released. But I think you can find him on the independent scene. Sometimes he shows up on MLW,
Okay.
which is
Major League Wrestling. Is that what it's
Major
called?
League, yeah, Major League Wrestling. Ironically enough, you got a Uso sitting there, and you got another Uso just wandering around. I have a suspicious feeling another Uso is going to emerge in London and stir this up a little bit. I don't think the bloodline's dead. I just think you're going to get
Well,
two.
it's still kind of around because you got Roman and Solo,
You got
Sequoia, so they
Roman and
can make a new
Solo.
one.
No, you got that. But what I'm saying is you got those other Fatus out there, right?
That's true.
There's another one. So we've seen three of Rikishi's kids. There's a fourth that's out there.
Oh, there's a fourth one. Okay.
And he wrestles too. So go figure. I could see it where the two older brothers are against the two younger brothers.
Family
with,
Feud.
Yeah, with Roman kind of calling the shots.
Could be. I like to see that. Really good.
All right, so let's get right back into Raw here, guys and gals. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, backstage segment. Sammy's telling Kevin, I think you have an anger problem. Kevin's like, no, I don't have an anger problem. I just have a useless people problem, sort of a deal.
That's a good line.
Right. So Sammy challenges them like, okay, if you don't have an anger problem, then you'll stay cool for the rest of the night, blah blah blah. And it's kind of they're hardcore team, but they're also very comedic. They have that ability. I have to give them the credit. I mean,
yep.
They're doing great work together. Sammy playing the straight man and Kevin playing the loose cannon. It's good. I like it.
Well, they got good chemistry.
So far, it's working. I don't have a problem at all. If Owen blows up, he has to admit he has a problem, and that's where that segment was left off. Where are we? Let's get back to the ring here. All right, so Chelsea Green, Sonia Deville versus Kaden Carton and Katana Chance. What do you think of the TikTok stuff that they were showing? Like they're really pushing her as a Karen type character.
I liked it. I don't mind it. Something different. He needs a little bit of character, so I thought it was good. Well done. What about you?
No, I had no issues with it at all. I knew
Liked
that's
it.
the kind of direction they were going. Now, here's my question: people that with the name Karen, they probably want to change their name, eh?
Yeah, I know. That's just went worldwide now. That
Right?
one Karen took it over the top.
Right? Like, do you know any actual Karens though?
I know one, but not really well. She goes to the gym. I know her just small talk, but not personally. Not really. No, do you?
I went to school with a couple Karens, and I thought about it last night. You know, like instead of counting sheep, I tried to count all the Karens I know. And quite frankly, man, I think the last Karen I knew was 1993.
Wow.
Yeah, like I don't remember anyone by the name of Karen.
No, I don't think it's a name people are naming their kids, the new generation, as much anymore. But
No, I think everyone calls
especially
it.
after this,
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. All right, so blah blah blah. You know what? This match was really quick. It ended in 2 minutes.
yeah.
You know, Green sent outside, finishes off Deville. Yeah, so basically a 450 off the top, finishes off Deville. That match is done. I like Caden and
Yeah,
Chance.
me
I
too.
really do like them. They have your name, so that's kind of cool.
That is good.
And I also like the fact, like we talked about before, the fact that they're an actual tag team,
You don't see much of that nowadays. It's
right?
random guys and girls thrown together.
Yeah, and if you think about it, last night, Chelsea and Sonia came out in matching gear as well, so they're kind of taking this branding of a team seriously too. Maybe this is something they're kind of starting, and we're going to see
I
a bit
hope
more
so.
of this, right? Cody Rhodes comes out. He stage on the stage. He accepts Dominic's challenge, and that's that. Indus Sher versus Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin squash match.
Big time.
You know they're pushing Veer, so just keep watching for that, guys. Um, in the back, Kevin Owens gets doused with some very cold water, but manages to keep himself calm. Owens says that he has an idiot problem and runs into Matt Riddle. As Owen bites through his hand because he knows he's in trouble, Riddle asks if he's seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Owen manages to lose it only for a few seconds, wishing Riddle a good luck and walking away. Cool
Yeah, it
segment.
was a good little segment.
All right, here's the returning Logan Paul. Still a heel. He's in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Your thoughts on that?
I love it. Anytime that guy's out, he's money. He's such a good character, athletic. That promo we cut was wicked, and then that front flip over the top rope. He's so athletic, so it's brilliant. And then he drank the prime after he landed it.
Yeah. No, it's kind of cool. I mean, he's
I love
so
it that
far
he's in there.
so far so good with the guy. He hasn't missed a spot. I'm waiting,
Oh,
and
he's awesome.
dude, I'm not hoping for it, but I'm waiting for him to miss a spot or flub something, only for the fact, not because I want to enjoy his misfortune. I want to see how he reacts to it and how he rebounds from that, because we haven't seen that yet.
There's
That's
one thing
all.
that I true. There's one thing that I know is all the guys in the ring for Money in the Bank. Logan Paul's the biggest star, and I think he's better than every one of those guys. LA Knight and all those guys. He can
Well,
outtalk him and he can outwork him. That's how good this guy is.
well, I think
He's good.
I
He's
think
got the size too,
I'll
right?
disagree with you on the fact that I think some of the guys in there probably have a bit more talent in the ring than he does. To be fair, that's just my opinion.
Maybe if you're
But
talking arm locks and headlocks, but they can't perform like him.
well, again, here comes Ricochet, and he basically says, "Oh, I made you viral,"
Yeah, that was a good
right?
spot.
So that was a cool spot as well. Like, take nothing away from Logan Paul. I think he's done great. He's given me no reason not to
Oh, he's
doubt him.
unreal.
All I'm saying is at this point in his career, I like to see how he handles adversity, because everything he's done so far has stuck. And that's brilliant. Good for him. Good for the product. Good for wrestling, right?
Oh
Nothing
yeah,
against it.
he's raised the bar so high now that anybody that's the quote a celebrity that comes in, I don't think anybody will be able to match him. He's that good. He's done so many good spots. I hope he wins Money in the Bank.
To be honest, I don't think he will, only
I don't think he
because,
will, but I hope he
yeah,
does.
wishful thinking. I think it's LA Knights. We'll make our predictions, but right now I feel LA Knights is going to be the guy to win it.
Could be.
That's just my thinking on it. Looking at everyone on the roster, looking at all the guys that are in this match, he's probably the most realistic one, in my opinion, to kind of walk away with it. If Ricochet was going to win, he would have won it by now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it will, might probably will be LA Knight, but I hope
Right?
Logan.
Yeah, if Logan was more full-time and not sporadic, then I could see it, right? But just because you kind of want to have that guy around,
Yeah.
for the close calls and for those kind of segments, it's kind of yeah.
No, but I love it that they threw a star in the match like that. It was a brilliant decision. I love it. I'm happy about
No,
it.
that's cool. It's cool. I mean, you're gonna get some assholes in the back probably complaining that, oh, here comes a guy again. But again, when they cash that check for Money in the Bank, everyone's gonna get that extra zero at the end.
I would.
So
That's true, but I would also say to those same guys that complain about that, the stars coming in, become that star. Then become bigger than Logan Paul, and he won't be here. You'll be in the spot, but you're not. So, speaking of that, show everybody that mug that you got. It's the first time you've had that on the air.
yes, absolutely. So guys, happy Father's Day to
It's
me.
cool.
I got this from Little Miss Miss and Big Miss Miss. Thank you so much, guys. It was fantastic. I
Yeah, it
love
looks
this
cool. I
thing.
like it.
It looks really cool. They did an amazing job. I was actually
It.
really surprised. Um, yeah, no,
It's
the
cool. I
little
like it.
no, thank you so much. It's a one of a kind. I'll get you
That is.
one
Yeah.
made as well. So
Yeah.
we'll figure that out. But yeah, no, I'm really I'm smitten over this one, man. Like, you know what? I mean, I don't expect
Cool.
anything from anyone anymore, but this was like probably one of the best things I've received.
That's
So
really
yeah.
cool. She did a good job, and the cake she got for you too had that logo on it. It's
She
pretty
got
cool
the
too.
cake and she complained. The missus did complain. How come you didn't post it on Instagram? How come you didn't post it anywhere? I said, because I had my name on it,
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool
right?
though.
So I said I didn't want my name on it. If it was just a blank canvas, like just the logo and everything,
Yeah.
and then I would have done it for sure. But I don't want to give away the secrets.
No, she's very creative with that stuff. I gotta give her credit. It's well
No,
done.
I was impressed. I was really happy. I was really blessed. I'm
I
blessed,
like
man.
that. I hope somebody catches that subliminal. I was really happy. That's a good one.
Yeah, I know for sure. I can't say enough. I mean, it was I'm blessed, man. Honestly, we're both blessed. We
Cool.
got we
Yeah.
got great families that support us to allow us to do what we do. So, uh, enough of the wishy-washy shit. Let's get back to the man stuff. Matt Riddle versus Ludwig Kaiser. Straight up match. I see where this is going. You're going to see a Riddle Gunther kind of program kind of emerge from this.
That could be
Well,
fun. You got the goofy hippie stoner versus serious. No fun, no
absolutely. No,
nonsense.
no fun. No, no, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the modern day Lance Storm, if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
No nonsense, that the character that he played back in the early 2000s, right? I don't
Yeah.
smile, no nonsense, blah blah blah. Straight up match here. They did some serious damage on him. Poor Riddle. They really worked
They beat
over
him
the
good.
leg. They beat him really, really well. Um, so yeah, so we're building up slowly for that. I'm curious. What I found funny about this is the fact that no one came out to help him.
Yeah. Where's all his buddies? He doesn't have any friends backstage, I guess, anymore, eh? Without Orton there.
Well, I don't know, man. I thought Kevin or Sammy would have come to help him, considering all the times he's come out to help them.
I guess they want to keep Sammy and Kevin out of this story, I guess.
Well, yeah, and so overall, this is why someone like Gunther has lackeys, as Riddles can beat someone with a bit of credibility. So you can beat all his guys, but you have a harder time against him.
Yeah.
The beatdown at the end and all that stuff. It's just building the story, man. Just
Yeah, absolutely.
building up the story, and they're doing a great job. Imperium interrupts Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens with the latter getting rather annoyed. Sami gets a message and they say they have to leave. Who do you think that message is for?
What do you think?
Well, I should probably mention this too, right? So the reason they got a message is earlier on, Cody was challenged by Dominic to take on all three members of Judgment Day, the
Yeah.
male. So he needed to go find a couple of partners. Well, I guess, I'm thinking that's who that message was from. Let's
It's hard
find
to
out.
say. Maybe
Hard
it's
to
something
say.
we're not thinking about, which is always fun.
Right? That's what I was kind of hoping. But I mean, the only two guys left on the show were those guys. So
That's true.
Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders. Viking Raiders get one back here. They're building up the story with Maxine. Now she can do suplex. She gets a suplex, but they're cheering too much. Meanwhile, Chad gets screwed over and takes the loss. So it's 1-1. Yeah, they're building that story up nicely too, I guess. I mean, what are you gonna do?
They got
I
a good
think
little rivalry going on here. Couple good tag teams, something different.
It's just something to do, right? I mean,
Yeah,
at the end of the day, I don't know what they're gonna do with the Alpha Academy. I have a feeling they're gonna split somewhere here. Otis and Maxine going one way with Chad going the other way.
seems that
Eventually,
way.
it seems this way. Yeah, I'm just gonna we're just in a holding pattern, man.
Yeah, they're just
We
getting out there, getting their matches, getting their stuff in, filling up the show.
No, 100%. So Natalia comes out and she's fighting Rhea Ripley. She talks about how she feels that she let people down, and she doesn't know what's going on anymore. Kind of I think she's at the final stages, like she's at the last couple holes of her career, in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah,
So I
I
don't
got to
know.
give Rhea credit. She picked Natalia off the ground and slammed her. And that's not easy to do because Natalia's she's
Well, Natalia isn't a
she's
big
got
girl.
some size to her, to put it
No,
nicely.
she's
You know what I
thick.
mean?
She's thick,
She's thick, yeah. So like picking
right?
her up like that wasn't easy off
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ground like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
dead weight.
Not a fat thick, just like a nice. She's
She's
still
big bone like her dad. She's
exactly.
thick like
She
Jim. Yeah,
big bone. There you go.
yeah,
No matter how much weight the woman loses, she'll always have that big
yeah.
body
That big
physique,
structure
right?
like her dad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Um, Match didn't even get started, and it was pretty much a squash. Um, Afterwards, though, it's kind of interesting. I want to point this out. Natalia apologizes again to everybody, and saying she's not sure what's happening with her. Meanwhile, Rhea replies with her sticking up the middle finger, saying, "You know what? That's just the way it goes."
yeah.
I like Rhea. I
She's
like
doing good.
I like what she's doing, man. Um, this is fun. Okay, so Raquel Rodriguez is ready to get into a Money in the Bank, and she runs into Rhea Ripley. Rodriguez says Ripley isn't ready for her. I like that match. That's something I'm looking forward to. I don't think maybe WrestleMania. Maybe WrestleMania will see this happen.
Could
But
be.
this is something you saw them standing beside each other. Raquel is bigger than her.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know who Raquel's dating?
No, I have no idea who.
Braun.
Braun Strowman?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, it makes sense, man. I mean, he needs someone, who can look her in the eye.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
Okay.
yeah, so they're together, and Ludwig Kaiser is dating Tiffany Stratton, who's the current NXT Women's Champion.
Oh,
Just
he is. I didn't know that either.
I just throwing that out there because I saw it. I thought I'd just kind of
Yeah, well, it's good to throw in there.
combine the two. All right, so Cody's in the back. He's working with his band, getting warmed up. Tozawa comes and goes, "I'm your man." He's like, "Thanks, man." And Sammy and Kevin show up and says, "Hey, we got your message." So now we know who the message is from. And basically the match is set. And Kevin almost lost his temper because he said, "What? I can't punch anyone in the face." Because what's his name? Cody told them that Tozawa came by and offered his services, but
Yeah.
he's probably not going to go with him, and he's going to go with these guys. Raquel Rodriguez versus Trish Stratus for Money in the Bank. Now, this was a surprise because I thought it was going to be Raquel who was going to walk away with this, but Trish wins.
It's good to have
Mind
her in.
you,
Only maybe got
mind
a few matches left. You got to throw her in, especially
no,
in London too,
well,
right?
let's put it this way. Here's something that I didn't know that was mentioned on the broadcast. She has never participated in any form of a ladder match.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but yeah, I believe that.
Right. So I mean, here's one way to get her into a ladder match. And I don't know how much she's gonna do because these things can be really physical.
Not too much.
Well, it's tough though. Like I mean, you're gonna be watching her, right? People are gonna be, focused on her a little bit because she's something different. She's the one character in this match that hasn't been around. So I'm curious to see what her work rate's going to be and what kind of spot she's going to be involved in. Because I mean, I don't know if she can take a ladder shot. So I'm going to be honest, man. I mean, she's
I
in her
think she can take
40s.
a few. They'll be soft. They'll be gentle with her, but she'll do something.
Yeah,
She'll take a fall off the ladder or get smashed.
Money in the Bank has always been where they're not they fight strong style with the ladder in Money in the Bank. It feels right like
Yeah.
they're not going soft. I don't know how soft you can go with her.
She'll take a couple bangs, man. I hit with the ladder, throw it off the ladder or
That's
something.
what I'm curious about. That's what I am. And I'm curious to see, is Shotzi in it?
I'm not sure, to be honest, actually. I
Okay,
haven't seen
because she was in the last one, and they said that she was kind of scrambly and all over the place. So I'm kind of curious. I can't recall right now if she's in it or not. But
I'm not
anyway,
sure. But it should be fun. As I said, they're bringing out all the big stars for London's
Yeah.
a special one in London. So
No, London special start time at 5 o'clock in the east. Or no, sorry, yeah, 5 o'clock in the east,
2 o'clock here.
2 o'clock here.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, where are we here? Braun Breaker. So tonight on NXT, Seth is apparently defending the title against
Yeah.
Braun Breaker. So if you guys get a chance, catch that. Seth said he's going to show up there, so we should get that match,
I don't
man.
understand the booking with that myself. That's a cool match. We'll get people to watch NXT. I get that part of it. You're gonna put your best guy because he's the champion on the developmental show. That's
Okay,
like taking Wayne Gretzky and putting him in the AHL.
right.
Don't get
Okay,
it.
I have an answer for you. So Nick Khan did an interview and he addressed this specifically, not necessarily the match tonight,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Tell the
why,
audience.
right? But why are Baron Corbin, Mustafa Ali, guys like that showing up on NXT? Reason being is a part of the draft is some of these guys are undrafted, right? So they're free agents. They go wherever they
Yeah.
want. So Nick Khan is saying that they're treating NXT as a third brand, not necessarily a developmental brand anymore.
But they gotta let the audience know that because he's saying that in interviews. They gotta say that on Raw or SmackDown, like, hey, because
You're
we
right.
think this is like the AHL or the CFL here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and again, I'm sure they'll come up with something here eventually, but that's the reason for it. So they're trying to bring in these guys to kind of up that talent roster
Yeah, make
back
you want
and
to
forth.
watch it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
smart,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
just think with 3 shows like that, it might be too much.
Well, I mean, if
We'll
anyone
see.
can produce 3 shows and make them successful, it's those guys compared to their competitors. We'll talk
Absolutely,
about
him and
that in a
Lewis,
minute.
those guys. Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute. All
But hey, I'm
right.
gonna watch it because of that. So it's working, whatever they're doing. So yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
match.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Shinsuke, Bronson Reed. Again, these guys have been going back and forth.
The
It
thing I
was
don't like
Bronson
about
Reed.
this match, they both wear the same color gear. That doesn't. That, I don't like the color contrast. They both had the black and the white, like exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah,
They got.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
like
fair
that.
enough. I think maybe they thought one guy
That's
was skinny.
nitpicking, but still.
No, I get it, and that's beautiful. I thought maybe if anything, you can tell the difference because one guy is small and
Yeah,
the
you
other
could.
guy is large, right?
Yeah, but the
But
same
I know
color.
what you're saying. I know what you're saying. It's kind of like
Good
watching
match.
Juventus play a team who has. It's like watching Juventus play Newcastle.
Yeah, and many of them are the same jerseys.
Well, they basically have the same jerseys
Yeah,
except
it's
the
like, come
crest,
on.
right? Yeah.
Must have been a last minute they
Um,
weren't part of it.
Okay, look, this match was really quick. They're building up. I have a feeling we're going to get a triple threat between these three guys because Ricochet comes out and interferes in this match.
Yeah,
Okay, plain and simple. Keeping everyone strong. It's leading up to a triple threat somewhere along the line. It has to.
I think so.
Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and the Judgment Day. Everyone gets down. Straightforward match. A lot of close calls. A lot of good action. Dominic did pretty well here.
Did. Yeah.
This is with the 3-1 or the 619. Win a few segments. Okay, so the crowd was on fire for this, and the match, and that made the match that much more exciting. Great spots here and there, but the final came when we got the basically Sammy got the Halua kick on the Cody. Pardon me. So okay, Cody gets a 2 kick on
Yeah.
Damien, kicks him out. What's his face? Dominic comes in, gets a Luva kick, gets a stunner, gets a crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Match is over.
Yeah.
Everyone goes home happy. Judgment Day's staring back and forth. Nice ending. I like how they're looking at each other. That was Raw, man.
It was actually pretty good Raw overall. Man. I don't really have any complaints about it. It was good. It was a lot of good matches, some good action. You got Logan Paul out there. I thought it was one of the better Raws lately.
No, I have no complaints. I thought Raw was fun. No issues at all. Overall, we're building up to something really cool here. I'm excited to see where we're going with all of it.
Money in the Bank is going to be good. They got the stars. They got some good matches here in London. So I think it's going to be a really, really good show. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, 100%. So hey, did you watch Collision?
I did. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it the next day.
Thoughts?
I couldn't believe it when I seen CM Punk come out there. I don't think he's been exercising or anything lately. Like he looked a little out of shape. It's the first thing that I noticed. When he took his shirt off, kind of did his promo stuff, the basic Punk. You know, he's the best thing walking pretty much. You know, and it was a good promo. Like he does put a lot of emotion and his stuff, and he's really over. The AEW crowd loves him. He's more over than Kenny Omega.
Well, first off, it was in Chicago at the United Center, so
Well,
that
yeah,
helps a lot
too.
as well.
That's where he's
Now,
from.
you ready for this?
Let's hear it.
I think the whole fucking thing was a work.
I don't think so.
No. Think about hear me out.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll hear it.
I think it was an entire work because the injury that he suffered, based on the time frame to heal and everything, is around this time. Now, hear me out. Now, I think it's a work only for the fact that anybody in their right mind, after everything he said, considering that ESPN interview that was released before Collision, all the shit that he's talking, he hasn't changed his tune. He's still talking crap about everyone, even in his promos. When the Bucks and Kenny came back, they never said shit. They never acknowledged it, right? But he said things in his promo about the Bucks, a few bucks short, things like that, little things like that. It just leads either Tony Khan is a complete fool.
I think he just summed it up right there.
Or he's a genius because he pulled the wool over everyone. Because I mean, if Punk was injured anyways, if the meat was torn off his tricep the way he's describing it, the time frame for his return would have been around now.
Well, it could be both, right? That fight did happen, and he was injured, so they're waiting for his injury to heal. But that I don't think there was a work at all. Like people say the Montreal Screwjob was a work. I don't buy all that stuff. This is real. The reason why Punk doesn't like the Bucks and Omega because they're Christians. He's an atheist. He tells everybody he's an atheist. He's sober. He's the greatest guy to walk God's green earth, and he doesn't like them because of that. So he's got a little bit of beef to pick with him. I think it was totally happened. And plus, Tony Khan, if it was work, wouldn't let Punk humiliate him like that at the press conference. That was pretty embarrassing, and it makes Tony Khan look weak. So that's why I don't think it was a work. And they probably talk like, "Hey, I'm going to say this about you. I'm going to keep this. They're going to take this real life thing and make it into like it was a work." I don't think it was a work. I think it was legit. But you are right. He came back after the injury. But I mean, he doesn't like them because Punk is a very, very angry guy. He's a very, very hateful guy.
He should not be a part of anything, in my opinion, if that's the case. Like, oh, look, man, to be honest, it was cool to see Punk come back. I tuned in, right? I tuned in because I was curious.
Well, you want to see what he's going to do. He's a train wreck.
Right. He's a train wreck, right? He comes out and he cuts this promo, which I thought was kind of cool. Don't get me wrong. I haven't heard him talk in a while, right? He made some valid points here and there. But I mean, at the end of the day, I look at the show Collision. It wasn't great per se. It was nice to see Andrade come back. To be honest, the main event the wrestling was good. I have nothing against the wrestling. Here's my problem with it. Do you think the network is paying for this, or do you think Tony Khan is paying the network to put the show on? Because look, I mean, let's just look at it this way, okay? If I'm WWE and my ratings are so poor on USA Network that I say to them, "Hey guys, I have a third show that I want to put on," do you think they'll put that on?
You wouldn't think so,
right? Like you look at the ratings that they get for Dynamite. Forget Rampage; that's non-existent. No. If no one's gonna watch wrestling on a Friday night, who's gonna watch SmackDown? Who's gonna? Well, there you go. Who's gonna watch a regular wrestling? Well, think about it. The time it comes on too. They got the shittiest time.
What, Rampage?
Yeah, it comes on at 10 Eastern.
Yeah.
Right. It's right after SmackDown. It's right after SmackDown. So it ties in perfectly for us. But here's the funny thing, man. Most times after SmackDown, I forget Rampage is on.
I just want to say that after you watch 2 hours of SmackDown, you don't want to watch another hour or two of Rampage. You're done.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I'm not sure why they chose to go Friday. That was a silly decision. And what's Collision for? Is it once a week, once a month? What is it?
It's a weekly Saturday program now. Look, they're gonna get their numbers for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe.
Punk was back,
Punk is back. But I mean, ultimately, I think within the month, you're gonna see it get the numbers that it's gonna get, right?
Another thing, I was checking out their ticket sales that they're going to Toronto and Montreal. They're doing Dynamite and Rampage and Collision. They only sold like 3,000-4,000 tickets. They brought their price down. The cheapest seats, if you want to go to those shows, this is for Forbidden Door. They're gonna do the 3 shows and do the pay-per-view, $16.50. That's $16.50.
Yeah, dude. They do not sell tickets. They don't. Yeah, they have a show on Wednesday, but they do such a good job. I guess cameras can hide everything, right? I mean, half the majority of that stadium is blacked out.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, the floor and maybe the bottom half of the bottom bowl is all you're getting,
Yeah.
right? And so ultimately, at the end
I
of
mean,
this
Punk will
show,
help with some sales a little bit. They
no,
got the
yeah,
Japanese
but dude,
ones.
he's not going to show up on Dynamite or anything. Collision is his show. They won't bring him to the other shows.
And it'll be
If
at Forbidden Door, right?
Well, I don't even know if he's on Forbidden Door. There's no match for him there.
They got to put him on there.
Well, let's see.
You'd
Let's
think,
see.
but
You would think, but let's see. Let's see. Right? I mean, maybe we'll find something out this Wednesday. Collision's this weekend, right? Or Forbidden Doors this weekend, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So I don't even know if there's a Collision show.
Yeah, I think it is.
Right. Collision is in Toronto, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're doing
yeah.
Toronto. They're doing Montreal.
Yeah. All right. So look, man.
Forbidden Door is in Toronto, though. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
Forbidden Doors in Toronto. I mean, it's a fun card. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, they'll have some
I
good matches on there.
if you're a New Japan guy, it's kind of always fun to see this. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega always put on great matches. You can't go
Yeah.
wrong with that. Okada's gonna be there. Tanahashi's gonna be there as well. So you're gonna get some really good talent from Japan coming through.
Yep.
And I'll give it. I'll say this much, man. AEW, they do have good wrestling. They do have good wrestling. The
They do have some.
storylines are off.
Yeah.
There are a lot of flaws.
For
But their
me, it's like
wrestling
when
is
I
good.
watch AEW, they got some great competitors and good in ring work. I'm not denying that. But it feels like an independent wrestling show, half of the show that I'm watching. There's a lot of little guys, a lot of skinny guys, and that's fine, but that's most of the card. And
Well,
for me, it feels like I'm at a local indie show after a little bit. They got the better commentators in WWE. I have to give them that.
fair enough. Fair enough. So you think Excalibur and Tony Schiavone are better than Michael Cole and
I think Tony Schiavone's way better than Michael Cole. Yeah, and I mean, I actually speaking of Collision, poor Jr. He had the black eye, came on the broadcast, and that was horrible. He's stepping away for a bit.
I think he should retire, man. I think his time is done. I love JR. He's the voice of my generation, but I gotta call it when I call it, man. Like it's time to step aside, man. Like do other things. But I just like it's just getting there now, man, to the point where it's just
Well,
I
he's
think
mid
it's time for
seventies,
him
and
to. Yeah,
some
okay.
guys like Bob Cole can go to mid 80s. Some guys just lose their fastball in the 70s.
Yeah,
And it's just,
no, it's true, and it's. I think what Bob Cole, prime example. I mean, he came to the point where he didn't know who was on the ice.
well, it's not that he didn't know; he couldn't see.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, you know what I mean.
But
But if he,
hockey's way harder to call than wrestling.
right,
Wrestling's way more
right,
slow.
but
Right?
exactly, but he made it very difficult for himself. At least to listen to him, he sounded like he was struggling.
To
That's what I'm.
JR?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, he was struggling big time.
right.
That's why he's stepping away.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want people to remember him as a struggling JR.
Oh no, he won't. He's going to go
Well,
down as the greatest
you'd be
wrestling commentator
surprised,
ever.
man. You possibly, Gordon Soley's there as well. So, but this is what I'm saying, right? Like every generation has their guy, right?
Yeah.
Ours was the King and Jim Ross.
Yeah, you could say Gorilla and Bobby too.
Well, I mean, when we were little kids,
yeah.
right? Bobby, Gorilla, Bobby, Jesse.
Then you got Schiavone and Bobby in
Yeah,
WCW.
yeah. So I'm back and forth. All right, brother man. Let's wrap this puppy up. Do you have anything for me?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What do you
Since
got?
we're talking about the one and only, let's hear your top 5 favorite CM Punk matches of all time.
Top 5 CM Punk matches of all time. John Cena, CM Punk in Chicago, where Punk won the title and ran away with it. That was always fun. CM Punk versus MJF. That was a pretty good match.
Yep.
CM Punk versus John Moxley was a good match as well. The feud that Jericho and CM Punk had that led up to their match at WrestleMania 26. That match was really good.
Yep.
And last but not least, CM Punk versus The Undertaker, because The Undertaker.
That was my favorite CM Punk match.
Yeah. And Undertaker kicked his ass, beat him, and he went home and never came back to the WWE.
Yeah. That was my favorite CM Punk match. That was a really good match. He worked good in that match.
Yes, sir. All right, brother man, why don't we wrap this up and call it a show for today? Thank you, man. We're having a good time. We're building up and everything's coming together. So on that note, my name is Bobby Sampson with my man, Mr. Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the great AC/DC, those that download and like and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And in the infamous words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it for Samp&Chance. Everybody have a great rest of your week. We will see you next I guess we'll see you. You won't see us. Well, we'll see you, but you won't see us on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday.
Got it.
All right. Samp&Chance out.